So next council meeting will be more chairs next time, or where we're entering the fourth stage of virus, whatever.
We'll do everything that's required.
There's like-
They've also mentioned that NASA have to be going on to the public building.
Oh, really?
So we'll go through the whole thing and figure out what
We were
Plays
upstate New
out.
York this past week. You cannot go into a grocery store, gas station, or anything without that. They just turn around and say, hit the road.
Yeah, it's been really difficult on me because I have a medical exception, and so I can't do anything. Thank goodness for online ordering. I don't know what I
And
could do.
several times we went to go buy food and jump out of it.
Thank goodness for online what?
Ordering, where I
Ordering.
wouldn't be able to do stuff.
The thing is, there's so many scams online nowadays, it's just getting worse and worse.
That's why I stay with trusted things like Hannaford and Walmart and
Yeah.
calling local stores to when I know what I need, what I can have.
There were two of them here. Did you get yours? Okay.
Like I just picked up all my postcards, and that was
I bet
curbside
you're
service.
by all the
I did
questions right
everything
now.
online. I handed her my check outside. She put the box in the back of my car, and it was no big deal.
That was probably Michelle, wasn't it?
No, it was Kelly. I got Kelly Smith.
Oh,
You know how we zoom in?
Yeah, I know.
They do.
Got
Free Caleb used to
Those
do that.
retired people, they have crazy schedules, you know? The minute they retire, you can't find them.
Yeah.
When I was a Boy Scout leader, I used them.
Crossed over by Heather now.
Because it was cheaper.
Yeah, because I couldn't get it up on the.
So when it came to doing campaign stuff, I was
It's
like,
still
why
not
do
right.
you want to order from
Yeah, it's not
other
6:40.
services? Why not
No,
support
it's
local
6:27.
businesses?
I set it ahead because it loses time. I'm
I had
testing it out.
6:27 on.
I know, she
The time
appreciates it.
work.
You should sign a warrant
I'm
for a
gonna
new
get the
clock.
time work.
We have one upstairs. We're waiting for Public Works to put it out. It's a big one.
Come on, they have nothing to do.
Oh, I know.
Actually, out back looks pretty good.
Yeah, it's a big improvement. from
So
the-
much better.
Yeah, yeah.
It's not like they had any trees that went down last week either. Poor guys, they must have been kept running. You're very welcome. No Tim tonight?
Tim will be here. You know how he waltzes in at 6:30 and Walkley?
Oh, I guess I thought it was
I
later.
don't know how he does it. I'm one of those people always have to be early. Here we go.
Pete, you missed one of these,
I did?
yeah,
Okay. That's on the water and sewer commitments.
yeah.
Yeah, there's two there that are just a single page and the stickies are on top of each other.
So I got a call from my car warranty thing, like all of us do. And I waited, and I had to wait quite a while for somebody to come on the line. I was like, my car's actually a 2019. And I'm like, I have a 2020 Hyundai Tucson. She goes, oh, well, you're not worth it. I said,
Good
"No,
evening.
can you put me on the do not call list?" Please?
You'll get a call next week.
I'm sure.
There are days when I feel like, oh, I have nothing else to do. I'm gonna play this game. They called
I'm
one,
bored.
they called one day, and wanted to sell the furnace thing.
Oh.
So I gave him the address of the state house and
Want this back real quick and sign that?
Sure.
when the guy finally Googled it, he said, "You are very, very bad road." Which I know where he was from, one of those.
Okay.
That's hilarious.
Who's gonna come to Maine and clean her furnace?
Thanks.
Everybody all set? Catherine, are you all set with technology there?
Yes, thank you.
I'd like to welcome everyone to the Pittsfield Town Council meeting, Tuesday, October 6th, 2020. And if we could all stand for the Pledge of Allegiance, please. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We have a moment of silence, please. Thank you. Next item on the agenda is adoption of minutes of the regular meeting held on September 15th, 2020. I'll look for a motion.
Move we adopt the minutes from the regular meeting of, you just said that, September 15th.
Second.
Thank you. Counselors, did you see any omissions or things that need to be changed in the minutes as presented? Not hearing any. We will vote to approve those minutes. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Not hearing any, that will pass. Presentations, congratulations, introductions, community economic development activities and events.
Yes, for community and economic development activities and events, I'll be very quick. We have a grand opening for our new business, 487 Nutrition, located at the Somerset Plaza. Their grand opening will be on Saturday, October 24th at 8 a.m. And so people have been very excited that this new business is here with its nutritional drinks and teas and other items. So people have been very happy about that, and I expect a good attendance. Second, I'll note very quickly that all of our projects that have been approved by the planning board and projects that are going through the planning board process are continuing. That is Pittsfield Solar One, which is located down on Main Street, Route 100. The FIDC 112 LTD, which is the Walgreens store, continues forward with their building plans. Somerset Solar LLC, which is going to be behind the Walgreens, the current location of Walgreens, the Rite Aid building at 500 Somerset Avenue, continues forward. The solar projects are arranged for Snake Root Solar, which on Snake Root Road. Walpole Realty is continuing forward and has been to the planning board with their expansion at 202 Industrial Park, and we are excited because they're moving more and more items here. Innovative Specialties LLC, which is Nitro Trailers, will begin on their 6,000 square foot building that's been planned out at 140 Business Court. And the town's airport hangar project still remains on the FAA, Federal Aviation Administration list, with the next project called Stormwater Controls Number 2 Engineering. So we're getting closer and closer to the building here. I wanted to note I got an update on the Main Street project, and so I thought I would go through that with you very quickly, and this deals with the fact that the town council has requested, if at all possible, as our preference, that we have a non-grass esplanade, and if we can't, then not have an esplanade. This is a big maintenance item, can also be a beautification item both ways. So the state project manager, Randall Barrows, reports that there was a meeting to discuss potential historic permitting concerns with the sidewalk. Now remember, this is a sidewalk that's been there for decades, many decades. However, this is part of the state process. And I've had to go through the historic permitting concerns on projects the town has had. I would not have thought the sidewalk project would be this complicated, but apparently it is. So there was a meeting held to discuss potential historic permitting concerns with the sidewalk. The participants discussed the town's preference to not have a grass esplanade incorporated into the sidewalk design, as well as the potential impacts for tree removal with both design options. The Maine DOT Historic Coordinator has advised that the grass esplanade does provide and contribute to the overall feel of the corridor. She will be requesting historic photos of the sidewalk as part of the review to determine the significance of the esplanade. She has begun the historic evaluation screening process and states that the corridor is eligible to be designated as a historic district. Now, I know you've been through this item before, many years ago. She will be sending a letter to the town explaining the process regarding the potential designation. Randall has sent a copy of the preliminary plans to the Historic Commission people, and will be providing notes as to which properties may or may not be eligible for the Historic Register. The coordinator will be meeting with the Maine Historic Preservation Council to discuss their opinion if the clearing required to move poles behind the sidewalk and elimination of the esplanade would be considered an adverse effect. So they discussed the option of tree plantings as a means of avoidance and mitigation if we had adverse effects. And of course we want to plant some trees, they'll just be small trees. And Randall will provide further updates as we move forward. Randall also indicates that Thailand, and that's the private company that MDOT hires to help them move their projects along. They hired them for our project just to get things going. They are working toward completing the preliminary design report plan submission. Expects to have it ready either at the end of this week or early next week. They are also pursuing the shim, which we've asked for, but was told no. So he is still trying to get a response from the commissioner's office. He did check with maintenance and operation, which I reported on at the last meeting, that they did not have any money in their budget, and shim had been taken out of projects that had been scheduled for shim due to budget constraints. And Randall indicates that he cannot add shim as part of this rehab project. He also did ask me if I was going to call him every week on the paving, and I said yes, you know I am. So he's looking around to see if we can get an answer here, one that we would like. So that is a report on the Main Street project, and what I'm thinking is once the budget is put together, I'm thinking maybe it would be helpful if we got the committee started up, then there would be other people involved in the project, maybe we can move the project forward quicker. So we'll talk about the pros and cons of that and starting up a committee in the middle of winter and everything. But that might be helpful on this project to move it along.
A sidewalk is historical.
Yeah.
It's not like it's cobblestone Old Port.
Historic.
It's a process they have to go through, but I'm thinking that the tree planting that we got the grants for, maybe the MDOT will throw in trees, maybe that will help. So we will hear back and see the pros and cons, and then I'll be back with a report. Thank you.
Did I hear correctly that because of possible historic nature of the sidewalk, we might have to move telephone poles?
The telephone poles have to be moved if we don't have the esplanade. Some of the poles have to be moved further back, and then that's going to affect the feel, as she says, of the corridor. So the whole thing is taken into consideration. How many trees we're going to take down, the age of the houses, and yes, these are historic houses. It's just most of them, they're not on the register because it's very difficult to get on there.
Well, no matter what we do, we're going to change the feel of the corridor.
No
Hopefully it's going
kidding.
to feel a little smoother.
Yes, I have explained multiple times. I mean, just looking at the road now, pieces of the road, large pieces will come up this winter. There's no ifs, ands, or buts. And so I've explained that out. So is the state going to come down and fix this? You have a massive gap in the middle of the winter, or can you just put some shim down now? So we'll keep on asking.
Well, they're gonna change the feel of that sidewalk anyway, because it's not ADA compliant.
I know. Oh, I understand.
So much school.
Yes.
Yes.
I know. I read this and thought, yeah, this is a.
You must have been shaking your head the whole time you were reading it the first time.
It's a state and federal project. So.
Oh, we'll see where that gets us.
Well, thanks for that
Public
update.
free for it.
Thank you.
And the last item I'll note is just to remind us all of the mission statement of in the comprehensive plan. And the mission of the town of Pittsfield is to provide a safe, healthy, attractive, and affordable community in which to live, learn, worship, raise children, work, and play. And I know with how costs are going up everywhere, that affordable is hard, but affordable is hard anywhere now. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Catherine. Next item is public hearings and old business, and we have ordinance 20-10.
Ordinance 20-10 set the public hearing on October 20th, 2020, that the town council hereby ordains that Chapter 2B, General Assistance Ordinance, Appendices A through H be rescinded, and the new Appendices A through H be adopted to reflect the revised maximums for the period of October 1st, 2020 through September 30th, 2021.
We'll look for a motion.
I move we set ordinance 20-10 to public hearing on October 20th, 2020.
Second.
Thank you. This is kind of a housekeeping item that we do every year. Any discussion about this? Do we have anybody with us virtually tonight, Catherine?
We do not,
Okay.
just myself.
All right, since there's no discussion on this item, we'll vote to set this to public hearing. All those in favor of setting ordinance 20-10 to public hearing on 10/20/2020, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Not hearing any, that will pass. On to number 5, reports. Council committees, finance, ordinance, and recycling. I know we haven't had an ordinance committee. We haven't had a finance committee. No, we did.
Well, we haven't had a finance committee meeting since, oh yes, we did. That's right, but I missed the second half of it because I had to go to planning board. So Heather or Deb, if you want to give the quick update on that, that's fine. But I can tell you our next meeting is next Tuesday at 6:30.
Yeah, basically we went through all of the budget items and we discussed all of them, made some changes to some of them, and I apologize. I looked at my notes and I said, oh, I don't need those tonight, and I set them aside and I brought my thing. So, you have your notes there. There were a few things we wanted more information about. There were a few things we had questions on. We did not approve any additionals. I do remember that.
Right. Yeah, I didn't make it to the additional part.
Yeah, we didn't approve any additionals.
So we have very few additionals. Usually we have more, since they're allowed now. On the budgets, there were the process of aligning up the uniforms or the clothing allowance so they were equal all through the departments, so that was done. There were questions on a number of items in 2 departments, and they were contacted and are working on their items. One item is on the agenda this evening.
So the Public Works Department is redoing their budget?
It is redone.
It is redone, so when will we be able to see those? See that?
You will have it in your package for your next finance committee meeting.
Okay.
Unless you want
Next
it,
Tuesday.
unless you want it now, I can
No,
forward it to you.
Tuesday's fine.
Okay.
Did you have anything else? that-
I thought it went very smoothly. I think the department heads were very aware as they were doing their budgets, and I think what's been presented, for the most part, is reasonable.
Do you know, I don't know if this came down, were we going to look at consolidating the police budget with the communication budget since that's theirs too? Did you guys, because that's where we were talking when I had to leave.
I left that stuff from.
You left it separate,
Yes.
okay.
For
So is it
comparative
something we'll
purposes.
explore for next year then?
Yeah, I think we'll put it as a goal for next year.
Okay, that sounds good, thank you.
Yeah, it seems kind of silly to have them separate now, considering it's all in the department.
We've already
Yeah.
started and everything, but
So we'll look at that for next year.
All right, that's it for finance.
Okay. We don't have anything for ordinance. We're waiting for items to come back and a few items that we're gonna be working on with the sewer water, and recycling. Tim, you guys had a meeting?
Yes, we had a short meeting on the 16th. Basically, we had a very small committee, and the committee reviewed the compact compost action plan, and a lot of this stuff is ongoing, you know. The building at the transfer station had not gone up at that time. It went up a couple of days later, and that went fine. They discussed, getting into the school system and the education piece of it, but again, the school contacts, because of COVID-19, they're having all they can do to jostle things around, so that's kind of pushed into the future. They discussed the same thing. They discussed the video town clips. They'll continue to work on that. The town brochures on the successes of recycling. Continue to update them as information comes in, keep them current. However, the CDC does recommend not to have too much paperwork out on your counters and stuff at this particular time, just so you know, so that hasn't been inundated with stuff upstairs. They discussed adult education classes again. We'd like to possibly put some of these online. Again, I think it would behoove everybody to have them online, where everybody is, pretty much doing things online right now due to the current situations. Again, everybody's very busy. It's hard to get people pinned down on stuff right now because of the way things are. We discussed the reuse center. Committee discussed setting up a program, and that's an ongoing thing as well, where Donnie, if they call and they have items in the reuse center, by appointment they can bring them down, disinfect them, and put them in the reuse center in certain places so that we'll have them when it does open eventually. And we continue to work with Donnie on this project. It's a case-by-case basis right now. The committee decided to, unfortunately, the woman that ran the majority of everything down there passed away, Deanna Tilton, a very nice lady, like I said at the last meeting. Committee decided due to the COVID-19 and her unfortunate passing that they will remain closed the rest of this year. We're going to look towards spring. The recycling trailer is now also back in the municipal building, as we know. Dump stickers, we went over them. At that time it was 1,123 have been sold. I'm sure it's more than that by now because it's getting close to winter. So people are scrambling trying to get everything out for snow flies. Textile box is in use, and that's going very well up there. The main recyclables week, November 16th through the 21st, and we discussed trash and treasure days. COVID-19, again, it's the same. I hate to say this, but the COVID-19 is an issue, and we have to discuss. Catherine said we'd have to, talk to the town's attorney before going forward with a major project on something like that to make sure that we're all meeting all of our requirements. We've got to actively work at getting some other new members after the first of the year. Now that Deanna Tilton is no longer with us. And some other people have dropped off, and we're going to have to try to actively grow that committee next year. As they lift the guidelines, we can do a lot more. Unfortunately, we're kind of hamstrung right now, like everybody else is, but we'll continue to work on it. We're gonna, because of the budget and things coming up and everything else, we decided to schedule our next meeting after Christmas, at the beginning of January, in the January block, because I'd be the third Wednesday in January, because it's just, people are very busy, and they're going to be, the ones that are active are going to be doing other things. It just makes sense. We're just going to review what we've been reviewing. Anything changes come up, as far as Donnie's concerned down there, he'll let Catherine know, and she'll let me know, and we can discuss it as a committee, and I'll let you guys know as well. Keep everybody in the loop if anything changes between now and January. If we have to have a meeting, if something major came up, we can do that. We'll make it work. But it just made more sense to just hold off until, unless a major project comes up, hold off until, the holidays are over, the budget's through, and we'll see what happens with this whole thing. My gut feeling is by spring we'll probably have a reuse center up and running. I know there's interest in it. I know there's been, Catherine, correct me if I'm wrong, if I'm not speaking out of school, there's a couple people that was interested in doing that. I think
yes, we actually have with some potential new volunteers. Unfortunately, some of our senior citizens that were involved with the project have passed away and become ill.
But we're going to work on that and actively try to grow this, because come springtime, if these restrictions are lifted, there's a lot of things we can work on. So,
Tim, do you have to be 18 to be part of that committee?
I don't, that's a real good question. I don't
because
know why.
Because it may be worth, if it has to be 16, I understand sometimes that's the thing, but if somebody
who's maybe 16 or older and needs to do community service like they have to at the high school, it may be something they might be passionate about.
Yep.
And
And,
that
you
might
know,
be a way to grow your community.
it may very well, and you know what I'd really love to do, to be honest with you, is I'd like to have we had this in the past, we had a liaison person that between, you know, somebody was in a committee in MCI, and there was the liaison, the person in between the committee and the school. And believe you me, it works, and, you know, if
Well, they're
something-
still planning a cleanup day.
Yeah.
The headmaster sent around a thing.
Yeah. So what we want to do is, I don't really think there's any kind of, I didn't know of any legal.
The students have participated before. We had 2 students that came regularly. We had a group at one time, and we had one student until she graduated, came for over a year.
Yeah. I don't know if they ever became official members, but we always said it was kind of a standard thing where if you want to come, as far as we're concerned, you're members. You may not be listed officially as a committee member in the town's paperwork, but you are a committee member. You get treated just like anybody else. You get all the information, be included in the decision-making process.
Well, it may be worth seeing if we can have them as actual committee members, because that could look good on college applications too.
Oh,
They
absolutely.
really want community service things on those applications.
That's a good idea. I think that, we should pursue that. And I'll bring that up if everybody's agreeable with that.
We've had them before as honorary members.
But if you want to make them an official member, if they want it, as long as it's legal, you know, you can check into it, we'll check into it and see, but I don't think
I didn't
there's
see
any
anything in our
illegal
ordinances
thing.
that say it.
I think it's fine.
Yeah. I can't imagine why it wouldn't be, as long as the parents agree with it. I don't know why
I
they would,
agree.
you know, so. But anyway, we'll be actively looking for members, and I'm open to any suggestions, because I think come spring, we're gonna get busy again.
Well, it's certainly a bummer you guys can't open, but
I know.
understand.
And believe you me, there's plenty of activity down there if it was, I can promise you. All right, and that's all I have, thank you.
Thank you. Board and committee updates by town councilors and manager.
So I'll be quick on the Parks and Recreation Committee. They held a meeting a week ago. They went over a number of items, specifically focusing on the fall recreational program and all of the requirements that the coaches and the participants would have to follow to participate. They had 138 sign-ups for all of the programs. So that is good for the grades that we cover, which are from kindergarten and first grade on some of the sports up to 7th and 8th grade. The major project they'll be working on now is to put together plans for the park. So they've asked me a number of questions on the history of the parks, and I'll write all that information down for them. And that's-
Catherine, I can't understand what
Oh,
you're
I'm
saying.
sorry. I feel like I'm yelling even. All right, so can you hear me better now? Okay, I am yelling now.
The
All right.
mask muffles some of the
I
words.
know. It's like we're yelling upstairs. So basically, Parks and Recreation will be having their next meeting in November. They went over the criteria and the requirements for the fall sports. They have 138 sign-ups, and they'll be working on a plan for the parks for capital improvements and for oversight over the parks. Thank you.
Do we have their budget now?
They're not going to put in a budget. They felt that it would be inappropriate because of the amount of research that would need to go in. They sort of would just be making it up.
Okay.
So they're being very responsible.
Anything else?
That would be it. Thank you.
Okay. Town manager's report.
All right, for the town manager's report, there, and everybody will hear this. I will be brief. Number one, 2020 paving. I have provided an update to the town councilors because we had 3 weeks in between the meeting. And basically, everything has been taken care of on the Higgins Road, on the paved sections of the road by Public Works, completed the week of September 21st. Pike had been scheduled to attend, but due to the funky weather, are a few days behind, which is understandable. The company is scheduled to arrive on October 9th, Friday, which is the last acceptable day under the town contract, and I'm sure they'll be there. They're a very well-organized, quick company, so they won't be spending 5 or 6 days working on the road. They will be there and take care of business. Number 2, the municipal building back walkway. The back walkway was dug up, excavated by Public Works on Wednesday, September 30th. We found underneath all of the gravel, and there's quite a few inches of gravel under the bricks, a large concrete pad. And so Public Works at first thought that they would have to dig it up, but looking it over, Public Works has decided that it's in good enough shape to leave it there, and that it will last as long as the pavement that they put on top of it. And so the concrete slab will stay. The Public Works Department will arrive on Wednesday, tomorrow, to work on the walkway. Because a storm developed and trees were flying around and everything, they had to fill the gravel back in so that we could use it in the interim. And the paving schedule got delayed. So they packed it in, and we'll be back to get all the gravel in orders for paving. And the paving company, if things work out well, they'll be doing it Friday night, Saturday. If not, it'll be during the day on Friday, and we will do the best that we can and adjust to the situation. It's very important that it get paid, but everybody's very understanding that we do have customers and a one-way traffic flow. Number 3, manhole rim project on Detroit Avenue. This is a project that I worked on with Public Works. 2 bids were received. The lowest bid of $30,000 will fit into the budget for the 2019 capital improvement plan funds. This is the contractor who worked on the Honeywell Avenue project, which was very good, and that is Facilities and Construction from Old Town. Their price was 50% less than the other bid. So Willie has already arrived, looked at the site, ordered the items, and will be here tomorrow. So this has worked out really well to make sure that they can get things done as soon as possible. Number 4, the 2019 paving remaining on Detroit Avenue. This is the overlay, which needed the manhole covers fixed, which were a strange size, and so Public Works just got stuck last year in finding that more needed to be done than they thought, and the paving schedule was running behind. So the Public Works foreman was asked to make sure that we got this scheduled, so he has contacted Roundy's Paving, which had the bid last year. They were agreeable to doing the work and getting here in a timely fashion. So the manhole covers will start to be worked on tomorrow, and then Public Works is working on the scheduling of the paving company, because they'll need to come right in after that. Number 5, water hydrant replacement on North Main Street. This was a team project with all the departments on Monday, September 21st. It worked really well. The actual replacement took a very short period of time. And in reviewing the situation, the safety coordinator is putting new protocols in place for excavation conducted by town employees. And so that policy has been developed as an update. There'll be a sign-off from the safety coordinator before a dig begins. Number 6, water hydrant flushing. This will go on in the month of October. The fire hydrants flushing started today. And during that time period, because they're flushing out, there's a massive amount of water that will stir up the water. So there will be intermittent pressure fluctuations and occasional yellow water or water with black particles. The yellow water is due to the presence of iron, which many waters and towns have in the water districts and towns. The black particles are due to the presence of manganese. So the flushing, as I said, did start today. It will move in an organized fashion, starting in from the Peltoma Avenue, going across town. There is a flushing policy and plan so that it's not just running out to different roads and doing this. It's in a concentrated fashion to flush all the materials that are the different chemicals and the different minerals that get into the water stream. Number 6 is the fire station and municipal building roofs. This work was all completed, done with very good customer service. Nobody was disrupted at any time. There was one just slight issue with the air conditioning system, but they forgot to tell us to turn it off, and so the sealant was a bit strong, and that was at the end of a work day. But other than that, everything went along really well. There was some cleanup work. I'm sure the owner didn't realize the amount of material left on the roof when we inspected it. So he came back and got that all cleaned up, and so the remainder of the payment is on the warrants this evening. We are awaiting the warranties. So this was a really good project, way under bid. CO Beck was the company, and this worked out really well. We'll have some funds that are available that are left in the loan funds that we can use for another project. Number 8, the Pinto Trail. This is the bid specifications for the equipment that's necessary to move the excavator around. So that's on the agenda this evening. Number 9, the crack ceiling at the airport. That is on the agenda this evening also. I did acquire approval from the Federal Aviation Administration that we can do just a small crack ceiling project and not follow all these FAA requirements for a big capital project. This will be considered maintenance and excluded. And they have provided several pages of Buy America certificates that are required for any bid. Number 10, Transfer Station Recycling Center new office. This project went along very well. It took longer than they thought. CMP was late for the appointment, but the power did get turned on. It's a very nice building. The coordinator is compiling all of the costs for a brief report to the council. We'll have a photo to put on the website. Number 11, tax acquired property bids. That is on the agenda this evening, and luckily we have bids. Number 12, absentee balloting. This is being promoted by the town as well as the state and federal government. We have voting booths that are set up in the front office reception area. This afternoon I was notified that the ballots have arrived from the state. So we will start sending out hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of absentee ballots. And we would let everybody know that your ballot will not arrive in a day. The mail is taking a little bit longer. So be patient. Your ballot will get there, and just plan for a few days for it to get back to us, so you send it back in enough time for it to be counted.
Catherine, does that mean people can start coming in and doing early voting?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah, everything has arrived, which is good.
And they can come in and pick up their absentee
They
ballot.
can pick up their absentee ballots, yes. Hundreds of people have been in or have done it online, and so you can come in a manner, a whole number of ways. And we had a big ad in the Rolling Thunder that explained everything out and how to ask for absentee ballot and where it's located on the town's website. And so we'll probably run that again, but and put that out in a number of locations. But yes, when the ballots are brought back, you can send them in the mail. You can drop them off in the drop box, so you can bring them right in. Probably I would bring them in, but again, you can whole variety of ways to bring your ballot back, and there is plenty of time. But they have arrived as of today, which is good. Number 13, the wind turbine. Wind turbine was a full grant project. A long time ago now. We're talking that wind turbine is quite old, about 15 years old. The town's match was just a labor to organize the project, get it installed, do the bids, take the students on the tours over the year. So unfortunately, the wind turbine during the last windstorm suffered some damage. And so we have tried to use the brake to shut it off because it's making a clunking noise. The brake worked, and then it didn't work because there's a problem up above it. So there's a brake you can go up to shut off the wind turbine, but up above it is some broken material. So at this point it's not generating energy, and the department head is looking for a contractor to go look at the facility. So I've given him some ideas of where we could find one. The company that sold and serviced the wind turbine has gone out of business. And so this is a Berkey, but the winds there were in excess of 72 miles an hour. It was just out of control, and there was a big bang and some smoke and sparks. And So it's past its warranty period. It's been a very sturdy, reliable wind turbine. Obviously, if we were buying it with tax dollars, we never would have done it because the payback is 40 years. But it was a grant, with fully paid for. We just had to match with whatever it took to get it installed and watch over it and everything. So hopefully it can be fixed. It sounds awful, but you never know. So the staff is working on that. Yeah, called the tail brake. That did work, and then to stop it from freewheeling, but then after that, it's broke up above that, about 103 feet in the air on the tower. So that's something we need a contractor for.
Yeah.
Number 14, signature stamp. Anyone who would like a signature stamp paid for by the town for all of your documents, let me know after the meeting. Per the town auditor, we can have these now. However, our auditing firm does indicate they should be locked up in the safe and brought out for the meetings. So basically, you've got all your documents here for the meeting. They would be in the safe. We would bring them down with the other materials. If you do want one, let me know. We'll get some costs and get your signature, and then have those available for you. Number 15, there was a new executive order by the governor to be enacted for October 16th. Some of the items that people are pointing out are kind of interesting. So, and other things are a relaxation, some are stricter. So we will go through. I will say that the town has had wonderful compliance from customers and residents when they come in for the town business. Number 16, just to remind everybody that property taxes are due on Friday, October 16th, 2020 at 5 p.m. here at the town office. And that, as we know, because the homestead exemption went up, some people's taxes went down, some people didn't even have tax bills, others' taxes went up. But the businesses and those who reside out of town did have the bulk of the increase because they did not have a homestead exemption. Number 17, the last item, community service days. MCI's community service days are October 21st and October 28th, 2 this year. The town of Pittsfield will be participating with students signed up to bag leaves at the municipal building, Stein Park, and Hawthorne Park. We will supply all the items that are needed. Due to restrictions on busing due to COVID-19, sensibly the students will not be working out of town at some of the locations we've had them at before, like Reuse Center, Recycling Center. They will be here in town due to the distance for walking. So the parks are an ideal location, and there are definitely a lot of leaves and more to come. Thank you.
Thank you, Catherine. New business, resolution 20-112.
Resolution 20-112, resolved that the town council accept a bid of blank in the amount of blank from map 18 lot 64, property at 456 Canaan Road, from the September 25th, 2020 tax acquired property bid, and to require full payment of the bid price within 21 days.
Move we adopt resolution 20-112 for the bid of $16,600 from, is that Cheryl O'Brien? Chad, oh my goodness, sorry. Chad O'Brien.
Second.
Any discussions, counselors?
I wanna go with a high bidder, but I also feel that we should give some consideration to, there's a land abutter, it looks like, that wants to have a farm. It looks like they wanna expand their farm. Is that correct, Catherine? Are you familiar with this?
All right, so there are a whole variety of people in town that have farms and creameries. So we do have Mike and Hillary Clowley that want to convert the house into a commercial kitchen for purposes of creamery and farm products operations. They indicate they will clean and rebuild the barns for hay storage. I'm not sure how they're gonna rebuild them, but, you know, some people can do wonderful things. And they want to have, dairy goat facilities with an emphasis on restoration agriculture. This would be an expansion of the Melody Ridge Farm operation.
Matt, you said they were in a butter?
Well,
I didn't think they were actually.
I was just looking at the,
They're not far down the road.
Yeah, they're
it must be
close.
just down the road a little ways. I'm not familiar at all, but I just wanted to ask. Otherwise, we can just go with a high bidder, that's fine. I don't have an issue with that at all, but.
So their
That
bid
is that
for
area,
expansion.
I mean, would they be able to do that? They need a commercial kitchen, that area be zoned properly for what they wanna do?
Oh, yeah, they're right
Yeah.
across the street from another business.
Yeah, it's on.
And that
Route
was a
2.
business, right? Do I remember that correctly?
That was a business.
Yeah.
I don't think there's no.
Does
Oh, that's the
our,
one at the top of the hill, right, Catherine, that we were talking about?
This property, where the property is that was selling used to be Redmond's Pet Care and a few other items.
across
on
from
the
the red
left-hand
place
side.
that's the used goods?
It was our animal shelter for a while.
Down on Route 2, down by the Higgins
I'm in
Road.
the wrong place.
It's the old pet store.
Cause you
Yeah.
said something about down near Sibley Pond, so I was thinking of the,
Well, it's
right at the
headed
top
that
of the
way.
hill before you go down towards Sibley Pond, there's new buildings going up.
This place is
Yes.
also
It's
there.
before, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
The
that
place
was-
with the new buildings going up, that's the Amish. They're putting
Oh.
up new housing.
Oh, good for them.
Yeah.
That was my only question on that. I didn't know if they were like land butters, if we needed to give them some kind of,
Biloxi.
yeah. But otherwise, I'm fine with Chad O'Brien too. That's fine. That was my only question.
We're fortunate, this house is in actually good shape.
Yeah. Yeah, it looked like there was just like one building that caught on fire or something and needed to be taken down, but.
Are we allowed to accept the lowest bid?
You'd have to have a significant, a reason why you would accept the lowest bid or a lower bid.
I think it's,
Cause this one is the lowest bid.
what one?
And then it
So
says,
13,000.
The one for Hillary and.
the one for Chad says he's gonna fix it up and live there within 6 months too, so that's perfectly, I mean, that's great as well.
My opinion is that we should accept his offer of $16,600 just based on the fact is selling tax acquired property is such a long procedure. I think we need to see some of that money coming back as much of
Well, in
it
this
as we
property,
can
how many times have you
possibly.
listed it?
I'm sorry?
I said in this property, how many times? Is this the third
This is the
time
third
now?
time.
Yeah.
So, I think we need to take the money and run, so to speak.
Yep.
I would have a hard time passing up two bids that are over that other.
That was
price.
my concern, cause the other bid, while I think it's a great idea, who doesn't want another creamery? Cause I love cheese. But it is the lowest of the three bids.
Right.
Any other discussion, councilors? Alright, let's vote on, what is it, resolution 20-112. The motion was to accept the bid of Chad O'Brien for the amount of $16,600. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Not hearing any, that will pass. And we're on to resolution 20-112. Sorry, 113.
So resolution 20-113, resolved that the town council accept the bid of blank in the amount of blank for map 23 lot 5, property at 132 Palcoma Avenue from the September 25th, 2020 tax acquired property sale and to require full payment of the bid price within 21 days.
Move we adopt resolution 20-113, accepting the bid of Tanya Hassard,
Sorry.
for the amount of $9,000.
Second.
Discussion, counselors?
Fine, she plans
All
to
those-
fix up the house and either sell it or rent it.
Everyone says they're gonna fix up the house.
If they cut the trees and the bushes, it would be a start.
Yes.
I agree.
And you can tell them house there.
Absolutely.
But sometimes you don't even know there's a house there.
There's some beautiful woodwork inside. I haven't been in there obviously for years, but I knew the people
Yeah,
that
it used to
lived
be a gorgeous place.
there. A lot of history there.
Any other discussion, counselors? Okay, all those in favor of, passing resolution 20-113 with the name of Tanya Hassard in the amount of $9,000 for tax map lot 23, lot 5, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Not hearing any, that will pass. Resolution 20-114.
Resolution 20-114 resolves that the town council ratify the town manager's execution of the listing agreement with Allied Realty of Skowhegan.
Move we adopt resolution 20-114.
Second.
Catherine has a note here, and I'm guessing, Mike, are you gonna chime in here and give us a little background, or?
If you would like.
I think it would be worthwhile.
Okay, I think, looking at Catherine's note, that she was extremely generous in her description of the first realtor. And it got to be a really confusing process, and I think we were much better off that that former person decided to back out of the agreement. So we went with Allied Realty, who was our second choice. And if you look at the listing price, Catherine's note had alluded to $199, but I think you probably have an update that's $175.
Right.
And really, with no comparables to come up with a selling price, Aaron based that on the Skowhegan Theater that had sold back in 2018. And that price worked out to be about $28 a square foot. Well, if you equated that to our theater, then we'd be in the 145 range. Really kind of on the low end. So it was agreed that, 175 sounds like a reasonable place to start, and you get the condition of the theater. And then you can always accept or reject any offers that should take place on it. And Allied Realty is highly regarded. In fact, when we had interviewed, we really had leaned towards them in the first place, but then when the other realtor came in, I think he was a former used car salesman. Did a good job, did a great presentation, just no follow through. So we were fortunate in that regard, I think.
So to be clear for the counselors also, the new contract has already been signed, so tonight we're just ratifying that decision.
Well, I saw the sign out there, so I figured.
Right, putting a little stamp of approval of the council on the new choice to have this done.
In fact, that marquee out there has actually attracted two people interested, or organizations interested, so I don't know
Yay.
where that is in the process. One I'm relatively familiar with. So we'll see where it goes, and hopefully somebody can get that, do some work with it, utilize it, and become an asset to the town.
Excellent. Thank you, Mike.
And if anybody has any questions, I can ad-lib pretty good.
Any other questions for Mike or Catherine about process or anything?
Mayor, would you
Just
like me
wanted
to
to sow.
would you like me to abstain from this vote?
Is this an actual relative?
Yeah, he's my first cousin. Yeah.
You don't need to.
I don't,
Where it's
I don't
already
think
done.
it's a conflict.
It's already done.
It's not.
Oh, this bolster is your bolster. I wasn't sure if you were talking about somebody that was making an offer or not. That's what I was trying to figure out. But
No.
The name
I
should have
don't-
given it away a little bit.
I don't, unless you're going to be having like a stake in the contract and he'll be paying out I don't think so.
I don't think
You
so
don't
either.
need to.
You can vote.
Yeah,
Okay.
I don't think it's a good idea, but I don't think it's necessary. Unless you have a stake in the realty office.
I don't.
No.
Free popcorn.
If he did, he wouldn't be working 7 days a week driving them.
Right. So, thank you for the disclosure of that.
Good.
Any other questions, counselors, or are we gonna vote on this?
No.
Ready to vote? Okay. All those in favor of resolution 20-114, ratifying the town manager's execution of the listing agreement with Allied Realty, please say aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Any opposed? Not hearing any, that will pass. Thank you, Mike, thanks for your extra effort on this.
Thank you.
Resolution 20-115.
Resolution 20-115, resolved that the town council waive the regulation of bid and contract, section 106 of the administrative code, and authorize the town manager to execute a one-year contract for snow plowing with S&G Construction at a rate of $2,590 per mile for a total of $99,715 with 38.5 miles for 2020 to 2021 season, with such mileage to be adjusted if the town adds road mileage during the term of the contract or deletes routes during the term of the contract.
Move we adopt resolution 20-115.
Second?
So I gave you as much detail as I could on
I
that.
was gonna say, it's almost a book here,
It's,
but I think it answers a lot of questions.
Great. I was hoping our public works foreman was going to be here to answer questions tonight, so I guess we're going to go. Did everyone find the email from Steve at Public Works to Catherine regarding the background and the pricing and everything? That
I
was in
did
the bid
not get
package?
that
It's in the bid.
It's in the package.
It's in the package, hidden
Oh,
behind my materials.
It's not an additional, it's just in the packet. It's on the back side of
Of the contract?
and on the end of Catherine's information, it's on the back side of that.
So it's an
The
email,
background info.
yeah, after the agenda sheet.
So I guess I'm looking at the background information and it says that, in the future that we're looking to have more of the plowing taken over by the town, which I think since this part was written, we have taken over at least
Yeah.
one more route.
Yes.
And what the plan, I was looking for information about the plan going forward. I mean, it is what it is for this coming year, I think. I don't think we are in a position to say no to the contract because we need the roads plowed and at this late date an hour, I don't think we can get somebody else to do it for any less. But I would have liked to have a conversation about where this is going next year because we're talking about next year now in the budgets and we need to think about what it's gonna look like next year and if we are looking to buy equipment or what we're gonna have to be planning on doing.
I was gonna say, because didn't we last year talk about the possibility of adding more roads back into a contractor because we don't have the right equipment and
Yeah.
Except that the
not enough
non-date,
manpower and all of those things that come along with major snow events.
Well, we're clearly not set up to do it now.
Right.
And I don't see that changing for next year if we aren't having this discussion and looking at it when we're doing the
I
budget.
agree.
Yeah, I doubt the contractor would take over more roads. That's something that citizens mentioned, but the contractor wants to retire over a period of time, but not leave us in
Stranded.
Stranded, which is a good word, because there are hardly any snowplow contractors anywhere. And so they've done a good job for what we've paid them. I do know from having snowplow contractors in the past, what we were paying per mile was a good deal for the town, because it was a lot less than what people had, but Stanley owns property here, or is a contributor or backer of property here, and owns property in Detroit, lives here, and so he wanted to treat the town fairly, but he would like to retire at some point. And so this means a phased approach rather than dumping the whole thing at once. I mean,
I think
and that's
that's
so good for him
I think
too.
that's something that we should look at. is
Yes, we need an
phase-in.
actual
We have a
plan.
good start on a phase-in program,
Right.
and not to disparage Stan, because he's done a great job over the years, but the highway department or public works has gotten many compliments on their plowing. So this will be the third winter.
The other thing you gotta look at too is that, you know, your snow plowing contractors are getting fewer and fewer and fewer.
Yeah, it's hard to
And as they get fewer and fewer and fewer, the costs are going to go up. And so, you know, it would behoove us to look at, you know, a phased-in approach of taking over at
Well, if
least.
we're gonna do it though, we have to plan for the right equipment in the budget.
Right, I mean, I'm,
Because-
I'm
Which
looking at,
means
Because we
we
don't
should
have it.
talk about it starting in January for the following year,
well, I don't think,
as to putting a
Right,
plan
actually,
together.
It might be a couple of
We
years.
sort of have to talk about it now, but.
We have to talk about it
not-
now.
Budget
Not in
season for
4
next
years.
winter.
Yeah.
not at this meeting, but we need to come up with like a 5-year strategy of how we transfer this and get some idea from Stan about what his plans are, like, is he planning on retiring in 2 years? Because that's a different scenario than 5 years.
Exactly.
So Steve has been asked to do this, but I expect I'll be working on it too.
Okay.
Could we invite Stan to come to a finance committee meeting and just tell us his plan?
We just,
There's all kinds of options here.
Then that way we're hearing it straight from him what his plan is, and that will help us with our financial planning for the future as well.
did it sound like he had a definite plan in mind? Because to me, it sounded like he keeps saying, you know, I wanna retire, but it doesn't sound like he has an actual plan.
I don't think he's had a plan, at least when I talked to him, but the last time that I worked on this before, Steve was involved, was back in 2017, and at that time, he did not have a plan, but he wanted to not leave us in the loop. He was very good about it, and said that we needed to put some language in. We put the new language in, that we would work with him. And so I think that we've gotten a lot of the kinks out of it, but there's still a few items there. And obviously, up to, you know, recently, it was less expensive for the town to have the contractor, but if the contractor is gonna go away, you know, we have to take this over or find somebody else. And I know from experience of bidding out snowplow contracts, I mean, 20, 25 years ago, you would get 1 or 2 people, and one usually didn't have the right equipment, and if you took the low bidder, sometimes that was just not good at all. So it's a hard profession, so I think, yes, I agree we need a plan, and I will talk to
Fit that
Steve.
into a workshop.
Yeah, I just really, this gives me, I mean, if there's things that keep me up at night, it's the snow plowing. It's
Snow plowing and sand.
not sand anymore, we got sand
No.
covered, we don't talk about
We
sand
don't talk
anymore.
about sand
It's the
anymore.
snow
No, I'm talking about
plowing,
5-year
you know.
planning though, because everything's going up in cost,
Yeah.
and we've gotta make sure we have the right equipment in it, and, I mean, if we're going to be plowing our roads eventually, which, whatever, we have to plan for a part-time person every winter at least, who can help with that load, because it's too much
Well,
on our
that's the
public
thing.
works. We have to plan on having a new plow with the proper wing.
Oh, there's a
You
whole.
wouldn't
I mean, there's
find a
just so
part-time
much stuff
person
that we have to plan for,
to just
so
do plowing.
Yeah.
we've
So-
gotta.
So to let you know, the town of Detroit is paying $3,650 a mile.
So how much does it cost us to buy a truck, man the truck, maintain it? I would be interested to see what our cost would be.
Mhm.
Because
Oh,
for
yeah.
all we know, our costs are $5,000. I mean, we pay
Right.
full benefits and we
Oh, I
have
suspect
We're paying
that costs
overtime.
more.
and
Plowing
overtime.
season is usually overtime.
Yeah.
Well, that's
So-
what I keep, like a contractor, you're not paying overtime, you're not paying the benefits, you're not.
Yeah, but you're gonna pay, yeah, you are,
You pay
because
it in
you're
the
getting,
contract price.
Well, yes,
There-
but it
when
doesn't
a
cost us
contractor
the
gives
same,
you
that we
those-
don't have to do the workers' comp. We don't have, I mean, there is a lot, I know people who own plow businesses, and there is a lot that's put into that price.
Yeah.
But it still could, like Matt said, cost us less money to have a contractor than to buy the equipment.
If we could find one.
Yeah,
So
that's
one
my
of the-
concern.
That's one of the big
That is the
questions.
concern.
We need to know what our true cost of plowing is.
Absolutely.
And I think that that was something, that and then Matt asked repeatedly about the sanding and how our sand system worked last year and whether the additional cost was worth using less sand and how it worked and everything. So I think we need a lot more information from Public Works. I mean, I think we need to sign our contract tonight because
Absolutely,
we need to have
absolutely.
a contract in place, but we need to have a lot of information coming our way from Public Works. And so we can make some decisions to the benefit of his department, you know, so that they have the manpower and the equipment and we're giving them what they need in order to do these jobs we're asking them to do.
No, I agree,
Right, 'cause
we
if it
have
looks-
talked about that, and I have myself gone in and looked at the records, but there's not enough details for me to do the analysis. The last analysis I did was with John, but I had the background details of what was going on with all of the shifts and everything. I don't have that now, because I don't have, that expertise, so Steve will have to put that together.
Okay. Can we, have that information before we go into, looking at the Public Works budget? Because I think that's going to be a really important piece of information to have.
Now that we've gotten almost every public works project scheduled or going out to bid, and doing all the on-the-grounds work, pushing through, then we'll go over to the plans that need to be written in.
Okay, that sounds like a good idea. Any other discussion about the contract before us tonight? Okay. All those in favor of resolution 20-115? All those please, in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Not hearing any, that will pass. We will plow our roads. Alright, resolution 20-116.
Resolution 20-116, resolved that the town council approve the request for proposals for the 2020 municipal airport crack ceiling, authorize the town manager and public works foreman to seek proposals for same, and accept a proposal for the town within available funding.
Move we adopt resolution 20-116.
Second.
Thank you. Questions, counselors? Discussion, counselors?
So Public Works was able to put the bid specifications together. He had already gone out and got bids, but we can't do it that way. We have federal and state funding available. So I said, put those away, and we need to do the bid specs. Luckily, this is work that can be done when it's cooler weather. We have a verification in writing from the federal government that this will not have to be a capital project, that we can use our CARES funding of a little bit over $40,000 toward the crack ceiling, which would, most years we would spend $5,000 to $8,000, so this is really good. And so any of the, a contractor that we would accept would have to meet the Buy America requirements and follow the town's bid process.
Well, I think it's encouraging that we don't need to use capital funds for this.
Yes, it is
Very much so.
Any other discussion, counselors? This is a project that's kind of come around a couple times. All those in favor of resolution 20-116, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Not hearing any, that will pass. Resolution 20-117.
Resolution 20-117, resolved that the town council approve the request for proposals for the new 25-ton capacity dual tilt deck trailer and authorize the town manager and public works foreman to seek proposals for same.
Move we adopt resolution 20-117.
Second?
Thank you.
Is this something that was already in the budget, Catherine?
This was part of the capital improvement plan and was funded by the 2019 loan.
Okay.
But definitely a trailer is needed to move the excavator around, because right now, they have a local contractor that will move it and try to not move it much.
So we're not increasing anything, this is coming out of funds that were already available?
Yes, the funds are already approved, and Pete had a question about whether this trailer was too big. more than
Yeah,
what is
because I think
needed
I think they approved the trailer for the excavator
for
that we
the
bought,
excavator.
which is a lot smaller than 50,000 pounds.
But if we happen to purchase more equipment, as equipment does age out and depreciate and eventually fall apart,
Can you explain that again, Pete? You think that the trailer that is being bid out here
So the
is
trailer
too
was-
big because the excavator we bought was a little bit smaller
So
than
the
what we
trailer that
originally
was
thought?
approved though was for the excavator that was purchased, which is nowhere near the size that's warranted for this trailer.
What does the excavator weigh, like 30,000?
I don't know, but I thought we bought a small one, right? Because they wanted Public Works and the water department wanted something small they could be able to.
That's
more
It's the
maneuver. I think it's the one that's right
one
upstairs.
It's not a huge.
And I'd
one.
asked what the weight of it was, but we don't, hasn't been confirmed what the weight was.
Yeah, I'd have to go pull out the loan paperwork. Yeah, I remember model numbers, not the weights. I think it's like a medium size excavator. There are smaller ones and then there's really huge ones. So they have $20,000 for this, so that was supposed to be.
that's
for
what's
a
for the
small-
loan, 20,000 for the trailer.
That's what we have.
And does Steve think that's enough money to purchase this trailer, or is that realistic? or-
Well, he was told he had $20,000 and to get his bid specs together or there would be no trailer. So, we got him.
Didn't the excavator and the other piece of equipment that they bought at the same time come in under budget?
They were under budget, yes.
Right, so they could use some of those funds if they needed to, if this comes out a little more than 20, or no?
All right, in the 2019 CIP funds, we just finished a few projects. The roof was one of them because when we got the bids in, the contractor had such a low bid, but would have a quality project. There's a lot of money saved from the part of the loan that was for the roof. So we've got money that's already saved and things that have not gone over. So excluding the Volvo, which is in a different account, we do have monies in the 2019.
Okay.
But we also just got done discussing that we may need to buy some plow equipment.
Right.
Right.
So-
Well, that's what I'm wondering, if, if you have concerns about the size.
I have concern about the size being more than what's required.
Okay.
But if it doesn't go over the 20,000, that's what is allotted, then I guess that's what is allotted, but.
And if you're not like overloading the trailer all the time, it'll probably last a lot longer too, I guess. Maybe that's why they're thinking get a big
For
one.
sure, but you're talking that top of the line.
I'd be
trailer,
interested to see
Yeah.
what the
I mean, you
bids
know
are.
as well as I do.
Yeah,
I'd love to have a tilt deck for my excavator, but.
Yeah.
So it's a legitimate question, why don't we approve this and I'll speak with Steve and make sure that, is this because they're gonna haul two pieces of equipment or does he think down the road he might have a bigger excavator or something else? What is the reason for it being so big? And then if he thinks he can fit in the 20,000, that's what he's got.
Yeah.
Well, he knew that when he put the bid
I
specs
told him,
together.
he did know that, he was
So-
instructed.
And it doesn't, it's not
And
like it's being trucked from here, there, and everywhere. It's
Right.
going from like the town garage to the transfer station, or,
Right.
you're only talking like 8 or 10 miles in each direction, and that would be generous.
Except for when it needs to take equipment for servicing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that shouldn't be often.
Which would
Once
should
a
be
year,
too much.
twice a year.
Once a year, at least.
Let's say you're talking top of the line and, why spend the exorbitant amount of money on a trailer when we're gonna need some plow?
So what we could do
Yeah.
is approve this and then maybe put an option in for a smaller one.
Or
So
send
I-
out the RFPs and let's see what we get back for bids.
We don't
I
have to.
mean, we
accept
don't
all
have
of
to
it.
accept any of the bids, so send the RFPs.
Yeah, but we want to have language in there, if we're willing to accept, if there's a reason that we need the bigger one, then we have to leave it as it is. But if we can get a smaller one, it should be in the RFP so more people can bid on it.
Or maybe we put it in that there's an option, that there's two of them, and then we get the prices. We've done that before.
Yeah, something like
No.
that, because I think we need to, if we can get a smaller trailer, we should get a smaller trailer, because we should be spending less money when we know we have to buy plow equipment later.
Is there,
I'm okay with putting in two, you know, unless there's some item we don't know about, we could bid out two sizes. There's no reason why we can't do that. We've done this before.
Can we table this discussion?
I was hoping the Public Works one was gonna be
Me
here
too.
for some questions, but.
Yeah, I don't think this is a big item. It would be easy enough to put in an option.
Can we put this, can we table this? I move that we table the, resolution 20-117 until we have our Public Works foreman bring us his reasoning for this particular.
If we table that though, what does it do to his ability to get it for what he needs?
Well, each time it's hauled around, it costs $300, so.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, that's pretty easy.
That's a pretty good price.
If we table this, Catherine, do you think Steve would have time to give us either a written or come in or whatever, however they want to do it, and have an explanation for it by the next meeting?
Oh, I'm sure.
Because, you know, I would table it
I
for 2
wanna
weeks,
know
but I wouldn't
what-
table it any longer than that.
I agree,
I just
but I
think-
think that he needs to provide us with more information.
Well, I
Why
think
did he,
Well, it's because that's the trailer he wants for the.
that's the one he
Public
wants,
Works
then we
Department.
wanna know why he wants something that's far larger than what we feel he needs.
Maybe he plans on moving like the loader or
I mean, there
something.
might be
I
an
would
ex-
think it's two
There might be an
pieces.
explanation, but
Yeah.
it'd be nice to know.
Well, it'd be
rather
nice
than
to know
just-
what that explanation is, so
Yeah.
I'm not comfortable voting on this tonight till we know.
Well, it would be easy enough to put in another option for something smaller and then see what the prices are. I mean, we've done this all the time.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
it's not, we're not buying it right now. I was just bringing up the concern.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you
We'll just
put the
get a
bid
bid.
out for two different sizes, then we can have this discussion with him as to why he feels he might need one that's more
But
expensive
can
that's
we
bigger.
do that the way this is written?
Yes, you just would say that we would have him put in another size that would fit for the excavator that he'd be comfortable with and go with it.
then
So-
when the bids come in with two different pieces of equipment, I would hope that he would attend that meeting and then give justification for one over another.
Absolutely.
Yes.
So I move we adopt resolution 20-117 with the amendment that we make this out for two different sizes of trailers.
We skipped a process.
All right, hold on just a minute.
If we're gonna vote on this tonight, first,
Okay, Deborah made a motion to table that was not seconded, so that
so that
motion
dies.
dies. Amanda has made a motion to amend, adding information for two trailers, having, the option of having a smaller trailer added to the, RFP. So does anyone want to second Amanda's,
Amendment.
amendment?
Second.
Okay. All right, all those, any more discussion about amending? Okay, so the amendment stands that we would add, language to request a smaller trailer size to be added, so we're asking for two bids. One, the 25-ton capacity dual tilt deck trailer, originally in the RFP, and also a smaller trailer if applicable, and the Public Works Director can add that language with Catherine. So we're voting on this amendment. All those in favor of that resolution 20-117 with that stipulation, please say aye.
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 Any opposed? Okay, so that will pass. We have an amended resolution 20-117, and we'll vote on that amended resolution if we don't have any more discussion about this.
I was gonna note, I think this is the best of both worlds, because we can see the prices may be very different, or it may be almost the same.
Exactly.
Find out.
Could be only a few more thousand to
Yeah.
get a much better trailer.
Right.
Right.
And
Get
that'd be
bigger,
no-
better trailer.
Yeah.
That'd
And
be
it's a
no-brainer.
no-brainer.
We have to stop talking about it.
Right. I personally, I want to see this move forward. We approved it almost 2 years ago, and this is the first step forward. We already have the excavator. We've been paying $300 every time we have to have it moved from place to place, and I think it's just a waste of money if we have it in the budget to have a trailer.
It was
So,
200.
call for the, did you call for the, you've already called for the.
No, she asked if we had more discussion
I
and
asked if we
Catherine
had more
had.
discussion.
Oh,
Okay.
If there isn't anything else, now we'll vote. Okay. All those in favor of amended resolution 20-117, please say aye.
aye.
That will pass as amended. Resolution 20-118.
Resolution 20-118, resolve that the town council approve the request for proposals for the ditch and riprap major collector ditch with receptor pond, and authorize the town manager and public works foreman to seek proposals for same and accept the proposal for the town within available capital funding.
Move we adopt resolution 20-118.
Second?
Thank you.
This again was the funds that we already had, correct, Catherine?
That is correct, and so we don't have the, I put this on the agenda because we need to move this forward. This is a major ditch issue. Luckily this year, because there wasn't a lot of water, it's not too bad, but generally it is a problem. It has eroded out, up by the hospital, in the subdivision that's behind the hospital, which the town accepted the road, so they accepted the ditch. Part of this ditch is on other people's property, however, it is part of the whole system. So Public Works had noted that we would need to have pads put down because it was so wet. So I told Steve I would put this on the agenda, but I needed the request for proposals. And he's thought this out and thinks that he can do this himself, and he would rent a piece of equipment like a steer,
Skid steer.
yes, that. I can't do two S's in it. He would rent that and be able to do it this year, and I said it has to be done this year.
Really, with everything he has that we're asking him to do,
Well, if this is a really wet area, this would be the year to do it because it's so
Yeah.
dry.
so we are
I'll
supposed to
give
get a
him
good
that.
amount of snow.
There's one big storm coming.
Do we have, I have concerns about the Public Works doing this project just because they do have so much on their plate.
Mhm.
But I also feel like the paving part is done, the back block's being done, I feel like there's a lot of things coming together that have been kind of hanging out there in the last few months that are getting done and going in progress and proceeding along. So, yeah, that's just, I don't know. Any other discussion? This is a project you've brought to us several times, and we have the funding already for it. It was clear last year's budget, right?
Yes, the citizens that live by it do call me regularly,
Yeah.
as well as talk to the Public Works foreman. He knows he needs to get the work done. At this point, I don't have the bid specs. If you approve this, then either Public Works could do the project themselves, and then we would just have a motion that wasn't necessary, or you could pass over it while we try to see if they can do it themselves. There's a couple of options here.
Are we giving them a deadline? I feel like there should be a deadline, that if he doesn't get it done by this time, we have to put out an RFP.
Yeah,
Well,
we're in October now.
Yeah,
Well, and that's my concern, is if we don't have this put out, even if we said no to all of the bids.
I agree.
Well, even with a contractor, they may not be able to fit this in, or because it's so late in the season, it may be an outrageous price.
I'm sure.
Yeah.
Or we could get better pricing because people want to fit in as many jobs as they can.
That could happen.
That's possible.
You know, anything can happen.
Oh, yeah, that really doesn't happen, but it could,
Yeah.
because this is the COVID-19 year.
Yeah.
It should be done this year.
Yes. This is a year when there's been less rain than
Be easy to do it this year.
Absolutely.
back to
And I think
2002.
it would be poor management for us to put that off for another year. Or
So right
till
now,
next year.
we're just approving, seeking proposals. So,
Correct, correct.
I say send them out.
Or you could seek them and,
Send them out.
Yep.
If people want the work, you'll get a ton of them.
Yeah. Any other discussion, counselors? Okay, all those in favor of resolution 20-118, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Not hearing any, that will pass. Resolution 20-119,
Resolution 20-119, resolved that the town council approve a renewal application for a liquor license for Vittles Restaurant at 107 Main Street, Pittsfield, Maine, 04967.
Move we adopt resolution 20-119. I'm so glad that funding.
Second.
any discussion, counselors? It's kind of a housekeeping item.
Yep, it's a renewal, everything is fine, and we would be very excited to see Vittles.
Absolutely.
All those in favor of resolution 20-119, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Not hearing any, that will pass. Resolution 20-120,
Resolution 20-120, resolved that the town council approve a second-hand dealer license application for this place at 445 Canaan Road, Pittsfield, Maine, 04967.
Move we adopt, oh, sorry, go ahead.
Move we adopt resolution 20-120.
Second.
thank you. Any discussion, counselors?
I love that it's called this place, because then it
Yes.
sounds like you're talking about this place.
It is this place.
This is the place, Deborah, that's across from that property that we just approved the bid on.
That's in Venice.
Oh.
Yeah, it's right
Okay.
on the road.
I couldn't remember the name of it, so that's ironic that we're doing this.
It's not that place, it's this place.
It's this place.
All right, all those in favor of resolution 20-120, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Not hearing any, that will pass. Resolution 20-121,
Resolution 20-121, resolved that the town council approve and authorize the town manager to execute the application agreement for the grant and aid program for the Department of Agriculture, Conservation and Forestry Bureau of Parks and Land Snowmobile Program for an estimated project of $41,232.69.
Move we adopt resolution 20-121.
Second?
Second.
thank you. Catherine, is this their regular pass-through for their maintenance?
That is correct, it is exactly what it is, and the paperwork will get filed. They will then track all of their costs for their maintenance during the winter, and then there'll be a package that goes into the state. The monies will come to the town, and then we will transmit it to the Drift Busters, acquiring no cost.
Okay. One huge question that I have right now is that the snowmobile bridge over the river has been broken nearly all summer.
Yep.
And it's a hazard, and it hasn't been addressed by the snowmobile club. So I'm wondering, is that their responsibility to do that because it's a snowmobile bridge, or is it town property, or how does that lie?
I have been told, but I don't have documents on this, but I have been told by numerous people that this is owned by the Drift Busters, it is their snowmobile
It's their
bridge,
responsibility.
and that they need to fix it. They are aware of its condition. I did not see any grant funding specifically listed in the application for that. The town has no insurance on it because we don't own it. I don't think we could get insurance on it.
Can we have them block it off until it's fixed? Because I agree, I just recently saw pictures of a group of kids sitting on that on Facebook. And I was a little concerned, also noting
Yeah.
how dangerous that bridge is.
My thought was actually, we don't approve this until they fix it. I mean, they're charged with maintaining the trails,
Yeah.
and that means all of the trails and not just cutting brush and things like that. It means their bridges and their passovers and all those other things.
So they do have a deadline for
Right.
this, so
For
it's
the
coming,
grant.
it's coming right up.
All right.
We could still,
Can we approve it with the stipulation that they need to increase this amount to reflect the, or move funding around to reflect how much it's gonna cost to cover that bridge?
Well, I don't think they can use it for snowmobiles. It's caved in onto the actual bridge, so they can't pass that with a snowmobile until they fix it.
I think that this would end up having to be a capital project, which would be done through one of the ATV or snowmobile projects. That would be an actual grant that's been talked about off and on over the years. They themselves have talked about a project, but not this one. I don't think it can be done in here because it's not, if it's that bad, it's not gonna be maintenance unless they're able to stabilize it. I'll talk with Manson Park trustees just to make sure they don't own it. I've been told it is the Drift Busters.
Can we send them a
That's what
letter
I've
that we
heard
have
too.
concerns about this, with the condition of the bridge?
We'll start with the Drift
But
Busters.
I agree with Catherine, this is a grant, so
Yeah.
to wait till they fix the bridge, they won't get the grant. But we can approve this so they can get the grant, and then we can say, you have to fix the bridge.
We can ask nicely.
Yeah,
Has anybody talked to Jimmy Dumpy about that, Catherine? Do you know if any, 'cause he's the.
I think it was,
They're aware,
spoken
they're
last year
aware
too,
of
right?
the
No, it's
condition.
this summer, at
Yeah.
some point this spring or summer.
I think it happened with that April storm that we had,
Could have.
with all of that heavy, heavy snow and wind that we got.
Yeah.
I mean, it was already kind of like on the, it needed some work thing.
Well, I'm in favor of passing this as long as we can meet with the snowmobile club, the Drift Busters, to discuss how they're gonna fix it.
You gotta block it off.
'Cause
Yeah, it has to be blocked off.
It has to be blocked off for this year, but I think we should meet, they should meet with us and explain to us how they're gonna make it available for next year. Because if they're not, or they don't want to, then this grant here would be in jeopardy for next year.
All right, so we'll divide this up into two projects here. One is to get them their break money so they can do their regular work on all the other areas. And then ask them, on their plans to fix this, starting with having it blocked off properly.
Right.
Yeah, not just with police tape, because you can get around that.
Yeah, it needs to be
Well,
totally
it says
blocked off.
Is that the 166-foot suspension bridge repairs? Because they do have $500 in the deputy
That's
bill,
not gonna do it.
hardware miscellaneous, and labor.
It's that bridge they far
Please,
underestimated.
you
Yeah,
want
that- this is
to
not
do
gonna
your
cover it.
budget.
But they're well aware of the condition of the facility.
Oh, yeah.
They may be able to find some contractors or companies to help them.
Well, snowmobile clubs and ATV, they usually are good at going out and getting money for their groups.
All right, I'll talk to them about their plans and give you that information.
Yeah, if they wanna use that, if they want this grant again next year, cause they get it every year, that bridge needs to be fixed before we should put some kind of a time limit on it, cause I don't know when this grant started, but it's due soon, correct?
I think they'll fix it the minute it snows, when they want to use it.
One would hope. Actually, I would hope they'd want to do it in the spring or after the water recedes, but
All right, we'll divide this up into two projects. One is so that they can get this approved so that we'll proceed forward, so they can meet the deadline that's coming right up in October. And
Okay.
then second, that we need to have this secured right now and need to know what their plans are to fix it. Because $500 is
not enough.
not relevant here.
So,
Any more discussion about this item, councilors? All those in favor of approving resolution 20-121, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Not hearing any, that will pass. Discussion items, Catherine.
There are no discussion items. I tried to put them all into the town manager's report and be as brief as possible. And we're in the budget process, so I'm not supposed to have any discussion items. That's why I stuck them all in the town manager.
All right, we will go to reports then. Audience, Colonel Wiley, you've been patiently waiting. Did you have something you would like to talk with us about today?
I'm in the process of bringing Naval Junior ROTC into MCI. We might have that by fall of 2021. I think it'd be a very salutary thing to do. I myself came through such a program in high school. The emphasis is on citizenship. It's not like the college level where it means you're going in the Army or the Navy or something like that. So I'm in touch with the Navy and the Air Force on it. It looks like the Navy will offer a better, more productive program. So I think that'll enhance the town and give us good citizens we can send out into the rest of the United States where good citizenship is sorely needed.
Sounds like a wonderful addition.
I think it's something that we would like to see in our community.
Anything else?
No, I think that's all I have to add.
Okay, we'll go to counselors. Amanda, would you like to start remarks for this evening?
I hope we start with me. No, I'm glad to see that the paving stuff is underway. The walkway already, even though it doesn't have pavement on it, is considerably better than what it was before. I did see that they went really quickly with the water hydrant repairs, especially that one that was across from the old corner cover, the solar place. I can't remember the name. I'm totally
Insource.
Thank you. I'm like, it's renewables, but I don't remember the name for it. We have too many solar projects happening. I can't keep all the names together.
Dang, great.
So I'm wondering if that sign-off stuff has to do with that, because that looked like a pretty precarious spot to be digging out a hydrant right there next to the River Lake area. And I'm sorry to hear that our turbine is broken. That's a big bummer. I hope we can figure out a way to get that fixed quickly. It may be worth reaching out to KBCC. I know they have a program where they're doing that.
That's one of the contacts I gave Donnie.
Wonderful. And I'm excited to hear about the possibility of a JRTC at MCI. I think that's wonderful. I'm also excited to see that we finally have a realtor sign out in front of our community theater, because that means we're no longer in a holding period for that. And I'm glad Mike was able to attend tonight, and Colonel Wiley as well. And that's all I have.
Thank you. Pete, do you have anything this evening?
Just had one thing. The video that we were having done for the town, do you know what the status is on that?
I was told it would be done by this time. I know that Gary is working with the company, the Blackfly Media. They got slowed down during the COVID-19, but did schedule quite a few interviews. So we're going to be scheduling a meeting shortly, and that will be one of the agenda items for the economic development group.
That was all I had.
That's it? Okay, thanks, Pete. Tim?
Basically, I agree with you that, you know, I'm glad to see some of these paving projects going ahead, these things that have just been kind of put out there and kind of had to, you know, hang out there for a while getting done. I've been speaking with someone, and I'm very glad to say that, you know, of course the tannery in Heartland closed down, and some of these people have come down and gotten jobs at Puritan. They've also gotten jobs at Nitro Trailer up here.
Yes.
And so that, you know, not all of them, of course, but, you know, there's quite a few that came from there to there. So
their employment, they're employed and which is to our benefit because they're good workers up there, they have to be, or they wouldn't survive up in that environment, so it's good that they're coming down here and finding good employment, and it's growing. And there's a lot of good work being done around the old General Signal building. It really looks nice. If you've been down by Honeywell Avenue down and seen where they're digging that up, and that really looks good.
It's a totally different view there.
Yeah, you wouldn't even recognize it from the old. And I'm glad that we're getting these hydrants flushed and all that, because that needed to be done as well.
That's also being scheduled, we're gonna do a schedule for next year also.
I'm glad to see, and I want to tell everybody upstairs that they're doing a good job. It's amazing what our department heads do as well, and the work that they do. We don't think about it. When you look at it on paper, it's like, holy cow, how do they ever get all this stuff done? But they do. So we've got some very good town employees here, that's for sure, considering how bad it could be. One little bit of a downer, I don't know if you knew, Catherine, if you knew Beverly Newton or not. She was big in the garden club. I went to school with her kids, Randy and Rhonda, who both unfortunately passed away now. I sat right directly behind Rhonda all the way up through school. Very nice lady. She just recently passed away, and I was sorry to hear that, because she had moved to Waterville, I believe, a few years ago.
I just found out.
Yeah, but my condolences go out to any relatives that she may have, and like I said, I've known her children my whole life, so I wanted to throw that out there because she was a good part. She's a part of the community and did a lot when she was younger. And that's all I have.
Okay, thank you, Tim. Deborah?
I only have a couple of things too. Catherine, when we get done with that back door, can we put a light over the door? It is pitch black when we go out at night, and I can't see where the sidewalk ends, where I have to step down.
All right, there is a light there, we just need to turn it on. Yeah, it'll be on shortly when we close, and so we just need to turn the light on. Yeah, when we leave, I'll turn it on.
Okay. Is it something that's supposed on a timer?
No, we have to turn it on. No, it's the same light that's been there, it's just that we only have myself here doing 3 things, so I haven't thought of doing the light, but.
Well, I think that we should have a light at that back door.
Yeah, we do have
all
a
the
light.
time.
Yeah,
And, you know,
we
and
do
have
have
it.
a light. I need to go turn it on. I'll turn it on when I turn off everything here.
Okay, but again, I think we need to put in a new light that comes on automatically so that nobody has to worry about who forgot to turn the switch. Also, we had discussed in the past having a community map in the entryway upstairs, and I don't know whatever happened with that idea, but I'd like to bring that back to the surface and see if we talked about in the office getting culling down all of the pamphlets and everything.
Oh, it's definitely been done upstairs.
And then, fix a community map on the entryway, the hall, and everybody's looking. I know we've discussed it. Anyway, I think it's a great idea, but we're not moving on it. It's one of those little tiny
Something with like
notebook full of little tiny things that we said we were gonna do that we haven't done yet.
So we have cleaned out the entire area upstairs from all of the handouts because they're not supposed to be out during COVID-19 and all the touching. So we have put all of the, moved everything so that we can move in the voting booths. So if you had seen the front area without the voting booths there, you would have thought we have like a huge new space that we didn't have before.
Right.
So all of the handouts are out of the front area. They were all secured anyway, but now they're all gone. In terms of a community map, are we talking about, I thought it was a mural. You're talking about a mural?
Yes,
Yeah, okay. Yeah, that was.
we talked about doing that.
You're looking for something like with the businesses on there, or just like the parks and
Well,
schools?
it depends. I mean, I'd like us to start thinking about it and come up with some ideas and discuss them. I know it sounds frivolous, but, people in the community are always talking about how they want us to look nicer, want the community to look nicer. And how much nicer can it be when you come in the town office and you see this beautiful mural, whatever style it happens to turn out. I actually, Sharon Mack, is quite the artist and lived here for a long time. She worked for the Bangor Daily News. She's living in Machias now, and she would be one of the artists I would recommend for it. Just food for thought, but I'd like to bring some of these little things back to the surface.
So you're thinking of
Seeing if
painting.
we can get some stuff like that done.
I remember we talked briefly about a map. I remember separately a mural, but the map, I remember in regards to how well the Cheese Festival did and how we wanted something that we could hand out. Is that what you're talking about, Deb?
No, she's got on the walls of the
I'm
municipal
talking
building.
about, I said map, but I'm talking about the mural
It's a mural.
Okay.
to be painted on the wall
I guess I don't remember that.
in the entryway. And then I would like another little thing, we talked about creating a buy local program, and I don't know if anybody's done that, but I think we need to.
So I did have that at one time, and we did that as, we promoted all the businesses and buy local, we had signs and everything. We did it with the chamber, and then that sort of went away at the chamber. So we did it ourselves, and then we would have buy local weekends or events in which people would contribute a certain percentage of the sales that day toward a community project. Once it was the depot, once it was the theater. It worked out wonderfully. I couldn't believe how much money people donated. But then as we became busier and busier and there was less and less money, it sort of went away. So then the Heart of Pittsfield did their promote doing all of your Christmas shopping and all of your spending in town in the nice little brochure. It became that.
Okay. And the last thing that I wanted to talk about is Tim mentioned it's hard getting volunteers, and it's going to get harder as the years go by because our children are not stepping up to the plate. I'm in my 60s. Neither of my children, well, my daughter does. My son is not involved in community service of any kind, and I know a lot of people here in this community who would have plenty to offer. I don't know if that they haven't been asked or they've been asked and they said no, but I think we need to find a way to bring our volunteer program or put one together and make it up front, a centerpiece. Because we have had a tremendous number of volunteers over the years for a lot of projects that other towns would not have been able to get. So I'd like to see that happen. I'd hate to think when I'm in my 70s, we have all these wonderful things that we put in place now that won't be happening if volunteerism does not increase.
It's probably at an all-time low the last couple of years.
I know everybody's having the problem, but I think we need to address it. I know we have a lot of other things, big things on the table, but I think we need to remember that doing 3 or 4 of the little things can be just as rewarding as getting a big project done. So, and on a, I don't know, happier note, glad to see that everyone's here and healthy, and it was a good meeting, and that's all I have.
Oh, I have one question. Can I ask before we're done? Has anybody submitted for the positions.
Oh, okay, so we
Stealing
have,
my question.
I'm sorry. I didn't ask that, go ahead then.
so, we do have, Mr. Hall, Jason Hall has applied for the, at-large, and for District 2, no one did, so Jason said, since he lives in District 2, he's gonna find somebody to be a write-in.
Okay. Sorry, Matt, I didn't mean to steal your question.
Anything else? Okay.
No, I wanted to ask it before I came into the meeting and then it went away. But her saying that everybody was here, happy and healthy, and I saw the empty seat, got it back up. And
I just wanted, Deb made me think of something, because like I said, I've been in the Kiwanis in the past, I'd like to be in it in the future, and they're going through the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
And I really think that I know I've got kids in their 40s and 30s, and I agree that, you know, they get busy, and the days of working 8 to 4 with Saturdays and Sundays off are out the window and all that stuff. I think we should, I think we're going to have to look at the local high schools and get some of these high school kids involved in some of this stuff early. And if we can do that, I think, you know, your high school years stick with you. I don't care what anybody says. I still remember what it was like. And I think that if we could get some of the younger people involved early, like when they're a sophomore, not when they're a senior, heading out to college, the different things, I think what that'll do is it'll drag other people, other family members into things because they want to support their kids, and then maybe spark an interest in certain things. It's just a food for thought, like Deb said, but it's something, it's going to be an all-encompassing thing to get people to volunteer to do this stuff more. And it's really too bad because, like I said, you can see it at the Egg Festival Committee when they've had it. You can see it at the Kiwanis. You can see it, you know, the people that are doing the same ones have been doing it for years and years and years, and they're getting up there. And hopefully, if we can get some of the younger people interested at that time in their life when it's going to stick, I think it would help. And I think we missed the boat on that one in that generation that's underneath us, our children's generation. But that's just something to think about.
I just have a couple things before we go.
I forgot Matt.
Oh, you said about the question. That made me think you already went ahead.
That was my only question.
Oh, she really did steal those
I'm
questions.
so sorry.
It's okay.
And then I forgot about you. So nothing else?
Nothing
That was
else.
it.
You're all
You
good.
don't want to think of something else?
No.
Sorry. So I just want to echo the encouraging words about all the projects moving forward. A lot of these things are things that have come before us a couple times, so it's nice to see them moving forward. All the work that the department heads have been putting in, not only working on their budgets, but putting through these projects like the transfer station building, getting that moved has been a huge headache for them. And it sounds like it's been a lot of juggling things at the same time. So, you know, kudos to all of our staff for getting all of this stuff done, and for everybody upstairs and the other support staff that are working through all these changes that keep coming every month. The state changed the rules we can operate under, and people coming in with questions, and the absentee voting, and all of those things is challenging for everyone. I wanted to talk to you. The library had a program last night called Roast, Boast, and Toast. And Amanda was there, and it was a virtual gathering of people talking about books. And we got to be their guinea pig. We did a little virtual tour for everybody of our new cheese shop. And it's the first of a series of programs that they're going to do at different businesses in town. So now that Vittles is reopening, they said they want to go to Vittles and things like that. And so basically people just talk about the books that they're reading at the time, what they like to snack on and eat, and you can sit and eat and have a drink while you're...
So what is it called?
Roast, Boast, and Toast.
Yeah, the Pittsfield Library set it up. She said she wants it to be monthly.
Yeah, so it's going to be a monthly thing.
It was fun.
And Patty Berry we donated one of our main cheese picnic boxes for 2 and a gift card, so they did a virtual drawings, and Patty won that. So I'm hoping that they do some more fun things like that. But they'll probably go to Papa Dover's and Vittles and some of the other businesses. And I think 487 Nutrition is going to be their next spot, which is good. It'll tie in great with their grand opening at the end of the month. So So it was a lot of fun. It was kind of neat, and Holly had a great time. She was a great host doing it and pretty well organized. And it's just one of the creative programs that they have at the library. There's a whole list of them that they have for kids and teens and adults. So she's doing a really great job over there. Coming up on Sunday, we have Open Creamery Day. There's an article, a press release we put out in the Rolling Thunder this week. There's several creameries in the area that are going to have open hours. Our open hours are 11 to 4. The Pittsfield Fire Department is going to come and have their wagon there, and they're going to do hot dogs and hamburgers and coffee. We'll have some baked goods. Of course, we'll have cheese. We have Wagon Tail Farm is going to come and join us, as well as Snake Root Farm. And we're going to take the cheese shop outside. It's going to be an open air cheese shop day because we can only put, it's small, so we can only put 2 people in the cheese shop at a time. Not good if you're having a lot of people around. So we're going to put everything outside, and we'll be vending outside. We'll be sampling cheeses on mini cheese plates for people. We'll do some modified farm tours and educational stations. People will be asked to wear masks. We'll have hand sanitizer stations available. It's also open Maple Weekend this weekend from the 9th to the 11th.
Community syrup tours.
Yeah, the maple people were kind of like the first to fall in the spring, right in March, when they usually have their open house on Maple Weekend. So they're doing, not all of them, but some of them are doing a fall event where they are opening up their sap houses. Obviously, they're not boiling sap right now, but they can talk about the process and have products and things like that. And so the state provided guidance for how to do these things, so we're going to follow that guidance as best as we can. We'll
You
have
said Saturday?
Sunday.
Sunday.
Yep. The Maple Weekend is the 9th through the 11th, so I think it's Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And then our event is just on Sunday.
And our local maple syrup place that's doing it is doing it only on Sunday, and that's the one in Clinton.
Okay.
They're the only one in our area.
Yep. Yeah, it was a really limited number because I went on there trying to figure out who else we could kind of tie in with, and there wasn't really anybody right nearby.
No.
But anyway, so I wanted to let everybody know about that. And it's the time of year when people start thinking about heading south if they travel through the winter or they go to warmer places. So my parents are actually leaving tomorrow morning, so I want to wish them well, and I'll see them again in April. So kind of sad about that, but just hope they wear their masks and use their hand sanitizer. So anyway, I hope, unless anybody has anything else, I'll look for a motion.
Move we adjourn?
Second?
Okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
We are adjourned.
Oh, Pete's extra in favor.
Sorry, Nat, I didn't mean to skip over you.
Oh, no problem.
I had your name.
Sorry,
written
Matt,
down,
I
and then I
didn't
had
see
to
your
ask you
question.
where the Deborah's list, I was gonna look at the page. This time I have to get to quickly.
Pardon me?
Have a good evening, folks.
You
Two, Kim.
A new addition to my family. My youngest daughter just had a baby
Oh, congratulations.
10 days ago. Cheyenne Lynn Taylor.
Oh.
8 pounds, 9.5 ounces at birth.
Good size baby.
Yep, she's a cutie pie.
Is this Jessica's?
Yeah, yeah. She's a cutie pie.
Extra blessing.
Yes. Now I get to drive up to, because they live up in Fort Fairfield, I get to drive up there Saturday. I told my wife, I said, you don't think Maine is a big state, watch this.
Well, it's a beautiful
That's a
ride.
short drive.
Yeah, it'll be a beautiful ride because the foliage.
Oh yeah, no, it's
really,
beautiful.
really
The only thing you
gorgeous.
gotta be careful of is coming back at night.
Oh,
You know, critters.
yeah.
But, no, it's beautiful.
Big
It's a beautiful
critters.
ride. It really
We're not
is.
talking the little ones either.
Yeah.
Well,
Big critter.
there's smelly critters out there.
And some of them,
wandering around, and then there's the big horny ones.
Yes, yeah. And some of the towns up there, like Fort Fairfield, they're beautiful little towns. They look just like the ones you'd see